You will never know if you have the minimum that is required or not. But what you have at the moment, just go and do it. Mm-hmm. Just start it.
This is the Startup Junkies podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Startup Junkies podcast. Thank you for tuning in wherever and however you're tuning in from. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Koonce, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Caleb Talley. Caleb, how are we doing?
It's a cold, wonderful day in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, but you got the sweater on. I like it. You look good.
It's got, got some patterns.
Yeah,
some patterns here.
Yeah, very festive.
Trying to, the viewers trying to make sure they trying to keep up with their eye.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Line of sight.
Well, we've got our friend joining us today, the founder and CEO of CelluDot, Joseph Batta-Mpouma. Joseph, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you have a good Thanksgiving, Joseph?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty good. Usual things we do on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, relaxing.
Didn't eat too much. No naps.
Well, took a couple of naps. You will sleep after a good meal, digesting, just the turkey and, all the stuff that, we eat. So just a normal break.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, the way we like to kind of start these episodes, tell us about yourself and kind of your entrepreneur origin story.
Well, it all started while at grad school. My background is material science and engineering. But back then, the program was called Macro EP. And in Macro EP, the way they designed the program, they added an aspect, just for students to be exposed to entrepreneurship, innovation, how to commercialize research and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. So when I joined the program and the program morphed into material science and engineering, early on, I just picked, the entrepreneurial route like something I wanted to pursue.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about CelluDot. What is it?
CelluDot, just like you will hear the way it sounds, right? CelluDot, you add cellulose and you add dot. So we are a plant-based derived or, driven company, right? Mm-hmm. And the dot, simply means that we do dispersions, Omni technologies. So we are making, solutions that will apply to any technologies that are driven by encapsulations of biocompounds and, chemo compounds. So it all started, from that angle. We wanted to do something, to encapsulate some of those, ingredients that are used in agriculture and in nutraceuticals.
What problem would you say CelluDot is solving within the agricultural industry?
In the ag industry, we are heavily going, for crop protection. And we have a solution that will solve for the huge problem that, you've probably heard of, which is herbicide drift. Mm-hmm. This is when herbicide, will move out of, target of interest when, they are applied on the field. Mm-hmm. So this has caused billions of dollars, to the ag industry, and farmers have suffered from this for many years.
Mm-hmm. We won't say the evil big D word, but that has definitely been a problem over the last, several years. I've seen, and I'm from East Arkansas. There's largely agricultural, so I've seen kind of the impact of that, and it's for those listening and watching, just Google that, research that to understand the problem and the breadth of that, because there have been instances of people even having been killed, neighboring farmers killing their neighbor over issues with herbicide drift. So it's a big, important problem to solve. How do you look at, when you look at a problem that large, how do you look at, they say, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
Yeah, so, for a problem that large, the best approach, or I will say the most likely, right, to tackle for that kind of issues, you just start, where you are, right? You have to start where you are, where, you believe you can start solving and making an impact. And in our case, we started our story just here at home, here in Arkansas, right? So you did mention, on the eastern side of the state. Yes, that's where we started, right? Our field trials, talking to farmers, asking them what the problem is for them, right? Because the way we look at the problem on the outside is not how they feel it every day. So early on, we understood that we have to, talk to them, get their perspectives, and ask them what kind of solution themselves they see for the problem that they face every day. And once we heard their stories, right, we looked at what we had to offer, and we just customized it so to meet their specific needs.
So you started talking to all these farmers, figuring out what their problems were and how you guys can kind of solve them. When you guys went from kind of lab to field trials, were there any big challenges there?
Always.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why is always, you've always heard that, hey, you have to build for something that people will, be willing to, adopt, right? Or to pay for, spend money on and things of that sort. So, research, you always build your research. Excuse me. You have the data, right? You build, you run your research, you have the data, you solving for the problem, but this is always like on the grand scheme, right? Until you assess the pain point, right? Usually we say you don't have like an applied solution. Those solutions that you have from the lab, they're still like, general, right? Type of solutions.
Kind of up here.
They're kind of like all over the place. But once you, talk to people, that are feeling the pain, and you understand that pain, you merge yourself in the pain they have, you go back in the lab, right? You go back on the board, you draw things, and, you just customize your solution to the problem so they can meet, really what they're looking for.
It's like the customer discovery process applied to the scientific method.
That's right.
Meeting those.
That's right. That's right. Because you have to give them, you have to give a solution that will solve for the specific needs.
So tell me a little bit about, coming from academia, and, there are obviously a lot of incredible solutions for consumers that have come out of academia. Is that really kind of the bridge to academia, or the lab to market is really that, customer problem? That's the bridge, that's the connector.
That's the bridge, right? And that's the bridge. That's why we, in our case, we love some of the programs we have in the state, right? Be it from the AADC, right? Working with Startup Junkie, and, even the Office of Entrepreneurship here, linked up with the university. So it rise all of these groups, right? So when you look at them, really, these groups are participating in the connection of, solving for those kinds of problems.
Helping to build the bridge,
Build the bridge, right? Because we are already part of the bridge, right? But often, even when you're on the bridge, you want to make sure that the bridge is solid enough. So you won't collapse while
it's not just 2x4, 2x4.
There we go. So I will say yes, bridging the gap, right, between academia and, industry, it comes all about, hey, do I really understand, right, the pain point of this, consumer or this customer? Do I really understand that? Or am I willing just to kind of like, push, right, the solution I think is the best for them, right? Not to say that the approach is bad, right? It can be either pull or push, but we've seen in many instances, let's say like in ag, right? The way it usually goes, it goes by, right, a pull, right? It goes by a pull, meaning, hey, the platform is there, the industry is there, what are farmers doing today, and how can we make their lives better? How can we improve on what they already do without causing a lot more problems in the system itself?
So it's just needs-based driven, as opposed to like solution first type of, that makes sense. And I can, just as in with really entrepreneurship in general, we come across in our work at Startup Junkies, sometimes folks get too in love with their solution or their concept or their idea that they forget about the problem or the customer in the process. And I have a feeling that kind of also probably mirrors in academic settings in the lab in terms of folks maybe perhaps falling in love with what they believe is really the solution to X, when in reality they've not crossed that bridge yet. So I can imagine that be the case.
Yeah, I mean, in academia, really, when you think about it, there are two ways of really running research, right? We have fundamental research and we have applied research, right? So, and labs do different things. There are labs that do one or another, and there are labs that do both. I was fortunate enough to be in a lab that really will do both at the same time. But really, during my PhD years, I did a lot more applied research, right? And I did a little bit of fundamental research as well, because you have to understand what you're doing anyways. But because I had like the ultimate aim to be in entrepreneurship. So I favored, applied, research, because I wanted to bring in, concrete solutions, meeting, real problems.
The entrepreneurial itch kind of helps factor in a lot of that.
That's right. That's right. Kind of like, I saw the end and I kind of like, trying to backtrack to be like, hey, how can I be ready, right, to do the things that I would like to do tomorrow? And that's how also like, we do it with business, we kind of like see the vision that we have, and, we come back and then say, hey, how can we take little steps, to get, to our ultimate goal?
Yeah. So you come from an academic research background. You always kind of had that entrepreneurial itch where you prepared yourself for when you finally took that leap. When you became an entrepreneur, what were like the small little startup skills you had to learn on the fly?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, while I was going through my PhD years, right? So I had I would say I was maybe lucky enough, or maybe I had like a good, way to manage my time. So I took a couple of, classes from the business school. So, I have, certificate in management, right? And I also did the venture, program, right? And I had like, the certificate in entrepreneurship. So that allowed me to kind of like, at least know the lingo. Yeah. Gave me like that foundation, right? That was needed. And I know a lot of scientists don't have that luxury, right? To have both at the same time. I was just curious. I was willing to learn early, I would say. And because when you kind of like know what you'll be facing at some point, right? So I was just aware of what kind of preparation I needed, to be ready.
So always having that entrepreneurial itch helped kind of lay that foundation from going to, academia to operator.
That's right.
Are you an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur looking to get plugged into the ecosystem? We host a ton of events designed for education, inspiration, and collaboration, from weekly meetups to quarterly events like pitch competitions and annual events like our marquee event, the Startup Crawl, which is the largest startup party in Arkansas. Check out our event page on our website, sign up, and we'll see you there.
Well, so you're the leader of a team, right? Tell us a little bit about the CelluDot team. You have obviously employees, but you also have, board of directors and even university partners. How did you go about choosing each of those individuals?
It's all about, so you see, usually for every company, there's a culture, right? There's a culture. Every organization has its own core values, right? So, and when it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, right? So you only put things together when they fit. In all of our collaboration that we have, be it with the university, as research partners, like you said, board of advisors. I mean, our team as a whole, employees, all of that, always comes as a full cake, right? I'll put it like a puzzle where every piece is just coming in. So we have like, the picture that we're looking for, right? So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So the way we go about building the team is, we always ask ourselves, will this, blend, in our core values? Will this, help us move forward? Will this make us, stronger, than we are today? So those are the things that we use, just to, move along with the type of choices that we make.
Tell us a little bit about your core values.
Well, our core values, I usually like to say, since we are heavily involved into innovation, right? And innovation, product development, business development around encapsulation, industries. I usually like to say for example, right, purpose, right, in innovation, right, is one thing. Strength, right, in collaborations, because we do believe that collaborating with people will always add something to what you have, especially if you have something to offer yourself, right? You can only collaborate when you have something to offer, right, to the other side, right? So once the other side brings in what they have, that's how you can grow. So we have a few things like, just purpose in innovation. We're not just running research because it's cool, right? To manipulate things in the lab and, see things here and there, right? So, we are also, things that we do tends to, help our employees, right, to grow as well. We have, on the side of, employees, it's kind of like, be responsible, right?
Yeah.
For things that you do, and understand that everything that you do, right, if it's good or bad, is affecting the entire team. So if you can blend in that kind of environment, you won't be the best, a teammate, right? So either we have to, at some point, let you go, or if we kind of like sense that from day one, I don't think that you're going to make it like, over, I don't know, a semester or something. We'll have to let you go. So those are kind of like type of things that, we really put on the table when it comes to align the type of choice that we make with our core values.
I've often heard the phrase, hire slow, fire fast.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I'm glad you brought up innovation, specifically innovation with like a purpose in mind. I think that's really intriguing because your website mentions possible future applications outside of just herbicides, like fertilizers, feed supplements, nutraceuticals. Did I say that correctly?
That's correct.
So what does your roadmap look like to kind of expand into these areas?
So the roadmap pretty much is that, it's always hard to impossible, right, to be tackling two industries at the same time. So our goal here, or at least the way we design a roadmap, right, is that we have a core technology, right, that can be applied to a variety of, applications. That's the first thing for us. And we are actually, we designed that not by accident. That was on purpose, right? From that core technology, we can branch out, right? We have like, a continuation of many. So right now we're tackling crop protection, right? And with the same technology, we know how, and we have the tools, by the way, right, of branching out to other spaces. Like you did mention, we can tap into liquid fertilizers. We can tap into nutrients, right? And this is still like in ag. And when it comes to nutraceuticals, right, we can also tap into feeds, right, for animals. Think about it like cattle, ruminants, and all those, right, piglets, you name it. So, but it's still going to keep us, right, around the same type of core technology that we have. It's just that the use of it can be branched out to so many industries. So this was designed on purpose.
You mentioned earlier on just kind of having the opportunity to leverage a lot of the resources, both at the university and just within the ecosystem. You mentioned Startup Junkie. Thank you. I also heard you mention Arise. Like, have y'all engaged in kind of that Arise infrastructure as well?
We use them I won't say not like being like on steroids, right? We use them when the needs is there, right? I mean, Arise is a fantastic group. They have, expertise. Across the board. I don't know in the state if you have a group like that one that can pretty much advise you on anything for free for 30 minutes, right? So, which is a cool thing for us to have. And we're blessed to have those because I know in so many states, I have a few friends that would tell you, hey, we don't have those over here and you have to pay for you to have access, to this kind of platform. So, yeah, we use them when the needs is there, but, we really use them. We use them across the board. Just think 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I kind of reach out to set up a meeting with Jeff, right? Jeff Amarine, who is already, head of, Startup Junkie, but he's also part of Arise. So there are many more people over there. Carla is over there for financial, so we use them, we really use them, when the needs is there.
Yeah. It's a good tool to have in the tool belt.
It is. I will actually advise people to, if they're not aware, they should go and, schedule for meetings, instead of just sitting down and scratching their own head, trying to think of it by themselves.
There's nothing to lose.
There's nothing to lose. 30 minutes for free,
The link to book a consulting just pops up at the bottom of the screen.
That's right.
Well, before the cameras were rolling, you mentioned that you guys have been in business for just 5 years. 5 years is a really impressive milestone. So congratulations on passing that. What do the next 5 years look like?
Well, 5 years seems to be long, but for us really hasn't been that long because we had like a blink, and you have to remember one thing, right? Is that the first 2 years, or at least the first year, that was COVID, right? So 2020
doesn't count.
Well, it still counts, right? It's still in the books, but just to say we were not that active, right? It's not until the second end of 2021 when we really start doing stuff around, operating at a normal, pace. But still, 4 or 5 years, that's not still a, small amount of, time being spent, right? And when you kind of like in a technology-driven startup, 4 years might seem long, but 4 years is very short, right? So, but, the good thing is that at least we were able to do the things that we planned to do for these first 4 or 5 years. And then now moving forward, we are heavily, now that we have, I can say, put a lot of product development and research, behind us. Now we're in the step or in the stage of, right, seeing the result of commercializing, right, things that we've worked on for so many years. So, really by, let's say January 1st, 2030, right, we would like to be one of the U.S. leaders in encapsulation, industry, and, just out there empowering our partners, with, high performance solutions in agriculture and nutraceuticals. So that's really what our goal is for the next 5 years. Yeah.
It's not a bad goal to have.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It keeps butterflies in the belly.
So Daniel invited you to kind of look ahead. So now we invite you to look back. And this is, our kind of land the plane question, an introspective question. If you had the opportunity to go back in time and give young Joseph some advice based on all the accumulated knowledge that you have now, what advice would you give your young self?
My young self, often there's something that is called risk taking, right? I would say, and looking at me back then, is usually you just have to throw yourself out there and start it, right? Just once you have, because you will never know if you have the minimum that is required or not. But what you have at the moment, just go and do it. Just start it, right? By doing, you will know if what, you decided to do, back then is a good decision or not. But always start somewhere and just start it. Anytime that you postpone, that's an opportunity that is just wasted.
Lost. You mentioned earlier too, you prepared for entrepreneurship before you needed it. And so in addition to that, it's almost like the advice to fail faster too. Learn what you need before you need it. Take the leap, fail faster. It's just all of those are ingredients to kind of carving away at a potentially successful entrepreneur journey. Maybe not with the first iteration or the second iteration, but the third or fourth, might be the one. So
yeah, that's why it's fun. Yeah, that's why it's fun, right? So the earlier you start, right, the sooner you learn of a few mistakes, right? Anyways, what is failure? Just an opportunity, right, to go back and start over again.
Yeah,
and expect for you to do better. So yeah, that's what it is all about.
Well, if any of our listeners want to learn more about you or about CelluDot, where can they go?
Well, we have a website. www.celludot.com. They can go on our website, reach out to us. They can go on our contact page, send us an email. If you have anything specific, you want to collaborate, you want to partner, just reach out. We'll be there, to work with you. And we are actually looking for people to join the fight that we took on. So just to make the life of our farmers, a better place.
We'll make sure to tag all that in the show notes. We encourage our audience to check out their website, join the fight, and also to follow the Startup Junkies podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Joseph, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share with a friend. Subscribe and review because it matters to us and we want to hear from you. If you're interested in learning how to work with us, check out the information below. See you next week.